Okay, Master, we are ready. Yes,
Okay,
we're ready to go.
thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. First of all, this is we are broadcasting from Dharma Treasury, San Francisco. It's very windy here. And I can sit here, I can feel the breeze, the draft, as soon as someone opens that door right there, the double door right there. It's not good for people who sit in this area. If we're going to go into meditation, or even when I speak Dharma like this, it's not a good thing. I need to do something about that. First of all, I need something to seal the double door, like in Wei Mountain Temple, when we have those fancy double doors, they have good seals around the bottom and the edges of all the doors. Can we do that here? Okay. When you practice, you have to be careful about the draft. You can get sick pretty easily if there's a draft. So I'm very cautious about it. When I go out in San Francisco where it's breezy, it doesn't bother me as much because I'm prepared. Okay, I expect the wind, the draft. But when you sit here, you meditate, and you speak Dharma, and all of a sudden a draft hits you, that's when you're very vulnerable. Okay, so anyway, I hope we eventually will fix that problem. Okay, how's everyone tonight? That good, huh? Okay. Since you're so excited to be here, let's continue. Yes, any questions or comments? 8, go ahead.
Hello. A Di Đà Phật, thưa thầy, con cảm ơn thầy đã cho con thử là second time, and we had so much fun.
Shh. Not so loud, please. You're ruining all the image you've been carefully cultivating the last few days. And what did you do exactly? Oh no, you socialized.
We go to Shake Shack, and then we have mushroom burger.
Mushroom burger.
And we have the shake, chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and
The shakes
Oreo
are good,
cookie.
aren't they? Oh my goodness. I like the fries
French
too.
fry and
The
cheese fries.
Oh yeah. You know, Shake Shack is founded by a fancy chef, very famous chef. So what he does is very different, very unique. So I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's part of the thing we do. Yes, thank you. You don't have to crawl just because you're grateful. Did you go to the Shake Shack too? Okay.
We go to grocery, thầy.
They went to grocery. Okay. In San Francisco, there's no grocery stores in San Francisco.
Ah.
Really?
Yeah, they go grocery. Yeah.
Okay, continue. All of a sudden I feel so hungry.
Then
Okay.
tomato slice, salad, and the special sauce.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy yourself. Now I need to do some catching up. All the momentum you built the last few days is all gone. So you failed the test. I threw a test at you. All you should have said, no, we're serious cultivators. We're true cultivators. We're not here to socialize and have fun, right? So that's what true cultivators would do, especially people at my master's temple. They walk around with the sign that says, bi and bi ko, whatever, you know, they close their mouth, they don't speak anymore. You see, someone come over and talk to them, say, and so very serious cultivators. I this is why I decided to do things differently. As long as at the end of this 4G you improve, you learn something, I'm happy. Otherwise, I spent years there. I really didn't learn much. It's annoying to me. So I'm more Americanized than Master YongHua and his disciples. Okay, well, glad you enjoyed it. Now we're back to real cultivation, right? Lucky for you, there's really no good Neapolitan pizza joints here in San Francisco. If I did, if you weren't down south, it would be different. Yeah. Anyway, so any other questions or comments? Also, I'd like to share our condolences. You know, we're a small temple. We are a new group operation. We really have no affiliation with anyone. Actually, I was asked to join various affiliations, 3 different affiliations. I didn't feel I wanted to join any of them. They're pretty big as well. Because I like my independence and do things I feel that should be done instead of having to do it the way has been done to serve their followers. We're starting new tracks, new trails, if you will. What's surprising to me is that I don't know why so many people died in our temples. What is going on? I went to other temples, they have 1 or 2 49-day service. Our temple is like always several. Like recently now, we have 2 more people who died. One who has been going to another well-known Chinese group of Amitabha recitation from, I think, Taiwanese, Chinese, and so forth. And he finally came because he joined our temple something like 2 or 3 years ago. He came around several years ago. We looked at him and he said, he has the attitude. He says, you recite the Buddha's name too? I said, yeah, we do recite the Buddha's name. He said, but he stopped here because his group starts cultivating at 9 or 10 in the morning on weekends. That's what normal people do. They come to the temple around 9 or 10 in the morning, if they do at all. Our temple, we start at 8. So he's a very vigorous cultivator. So he joined our temple and he would leave his temple at 9:30 or so. Okay. So anyway, so we got to talking to the old monk. I ignore him. He has such a bad attitude. Okay. But our old monk, Master XC, where is he? Is he back? I heard he's back. One texting him, what happened to our old monk? Huh? He's there?
He's back, but I think he's resting.
He's resting.
No, he's not in the Buddha hall.
He's not in the Buddha hall. See how well we treat our elderly monks? He just came back from Vietnam and to do some temple business, namely to go and pick up some Vietnamese tantras from his tantra groups. They have some specialized Vietnamese tantra groups. They're a very strong group, actually. They live on the edge of the Vietnamese Buddhist Association, so they do their own things. They don't want to join their general assembly, general association, because they prize their independence. And when you do that, you have no support from the government who also sort of label you as black sheep of the Buddhist communities. However, quite a few of them are able to do very well living on the edge of the Vietnamese Buddhist Association, main Buddhist Association, because they have some real skills, if you will. So this group here is from Master Hsien Chu's master and grand master's level. And they have some mantras, and they use the mantras to help a lot of people. Okay, mantras in Buddhism is what you learn in order to do your work. You do Chan. You really still need to further develop skills, develop tools to do your work. So Master YongHua, when he came to our country, United States, he brought the whole complement of Mahayana, Chan, teachings, Pure Land. His Pure Land is very advanced. I don't know why his students didn't pick it up. And the mantras is his specialty. So he brought to our country many tantric dharmas, okay, more or less resurrected the Chinese secret school in his generation. His predecessor, Master Xu Yun, is rather weak with mantras. So Xu Yun used to be bothered by people coming to his temple, ghosts and demons coming to his temple and causing problems in the assembly, and Xu Yun kind of ignored it. Master YongHua then was a young monk, so he beat up on the ghosts. He liked to do those things. Master YongHua is very aggressive. So anyway, so in Mahayana, we need to have mantras, tantras, in order to defend our territories, okay, and do our work and protect our people. So anyway, so Master YongHua transmitted quite a few important tantric dharmas to my generation. Okay, so he's a specialist, so his disciples are pretty good with mantras. So I don't know why I got the mantras. I forgot. All right. So anyway, so these people have been the people who've been dying, and so among two of them, so this old monk here came to our temple, and he after a while, the old monk, our old monk, the abbot here, this temple here, and Dharma treasury, Master Xianchu, talked to him and advised him to take care of his rebirth, okay, which we have, what the Chinese don't have. Okay, that's a new American Dharma, Pure Land Dharma we established several years ago, and have been working very well. So the old man agreed to it, and Master Xianchu is very, very compassionate. He talks to people, he talks to everyone. So that's why the old man recently died, and lucky for him that he's prepared. So we are next week. I'm going to LA to help do his funeral services. Actually, I don't do funeral services anymore because I'm too busy. I take care of the 49-day service. The funeral services to me is sort of like for the living. I really don't have time for the living. My efforts are focused upon helping the dead go to the Pure Land. So, but anyway, our people are busy here, and we are have a lot of things. So I ended up having to do the funeral services for them next week. So and that's one case, a recent case, and also another case is Master Xianxin's uncle. Her beloved uncle, who's been giving her a lot of grief for living the home life and bad-mouthing us and everything. So, why are we helping him again? Oh, just to give him false hope. Huh? Wouldn't that be fun? And now he's suffering. The guy's been in hospital for a long time. Okay, and they finally decided to remove the tube. So he died. He croaked. And so she requested me to help him go to the Pure Land. I didn't say yes. I didn't say no. I said, but we're going to have some fun. Let him suffer. I'm going to make him suffer for a while, teach him a lesson. The next time he sees me, he better bow down and say, I'm so sorry. Or when I see him in the Pure Land, I bow down to him. What goes around comes around, folks. Be careful. I'd be nice after a while. Okay? You'll be amazed. You full of life and you full of your faculties and you're so full of yourself. But when you die, the game you change. It's totally different. You need help. Trust me. Unless you're enlightened, you don't need help. If you're not enlightened yet, you're going to need help desperately. Trust me. Okay? Most of you will need help. So anyway, it's our fun now with this uncle of hers. Wouldn't believe the thing he said about us and about Buddhism and so forth. So, sweet revenge. Okay? Yeah. You all get what we deserve. Okay, any other questions or comments? Yes, 5. Excuse me.
谢谢Master。我们在家人的话，通常都没有特别多的时间。那我一般一天可以有2个小时，1个小时想用来做静坐，另外1个小时可以念经或者是 sutra， 或者是这个咒语。那我的问题是，假设说这1个小时的话，我的目的就是想开悟，或者是说利益众生这个目的来修行。请问你有什么建议吗？就是哪个经或者是哪个书出更加有利在这方面？谢谢 Master。
6 translation.
Thank you, Master. Here is the English translation. So this gentleman, he asks, since he stays at home, and every day he only has 2 hours for cultivation. 1 hour he allocates to do sitting meditation, and then for the other hour, he said he with the purpose of being enlightened, and he plans to use this through recite.
I thought he recites sutras.
Or
I
mantra.
thought he said he recites sutras the other hour. Did I hear wrong? The translation, you cannot drop his comments.
1 hour. He said 1 hour. Another hour sutra or mantra, he said. Yeah.
Okay.
So he said, what would be your recommendation, your advice, what he should do to better use his time?
Okay. What should he do? Well, it's wonderful. You can have 2 hours of your time every day to cultivate. It's fantastic. Okay? You retired or you rich? Seriously. Who has 2 hours? I don't. Huh? I don't. Huh? Who has 2 hours? Tell me. Who has 2 hours? Raise your hands. Well, you're almost retired. Come on. You Chicago people, you have nothing else to do. Yes, 6.
Well, you cut sleep.
You what?
Cut off the sleep for 2 hours.
I'm sorry.
I replaced the cultivation sleep. Sleep. I took out sleep to cultivate.
What?
Yeah, I have food coma right now, but I have food coma. Too
much sugar. No more shakes for you. So what was the comment again?
The 2 hours to cultivate, I lose sleep.
I'm sorry.
Oh.
You have some competition from the airplane. I'm impressed with 2 hours. I never had 2 hours. Seriously. Even the monks don't have 2 hours.
Just lesser sleep. 2 to 3 hours cultivation, subtracting from sleeping time.
I see. Okay, so you do 3 hours.
That's max.
then you definitely will become enlightened. So, good point. When? It's a matter of course you will become enlightened. Let's face it. Huh? You practice is hard. Of course you will become enlightened. Yeah. It's a matter of time. Okay, anyone else? 2 hours, that's impressive. It's great to have 2 hours, block 2 hours like that. It's wonderful. And I just wonder how you can have 2 hours during the day. It's just like you go to work or don't you go to work?
We work at home now, so the
You work at
transition
home.
time could be saved. Yeah,
Okay. So it won't be forever though.
permanently. Yeah, if I work with this company. Yeah.
So that's why I asked, because if he assumes that 2 hours, the question implies that it's forever, but it's not forever. Because for most people, 2 hours is not possible, not reasonable. Okay? Normal people, that is. Monks and nuns, my master's disciples, monks and nuns disciples, they have 2 hours meditation. Once in the morning, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. And I doubt that they even do that. Okay? My disciples, monks and nuns, they rarely sit for 2 hours at all. Okay? So it's rather difficult thing to do. So what do you do? Okay? It's good that you meditate. So meditation really is the best form of training, self-training, especially at home. Okay, so do that, and you have the other hour there. What I would do is to listen to the Dharma, to the instructions. Okay, it's not about sutras. You have to choose which sutras carefully. Okay, so since you're Chinese, I would listen to Master YongHua's instruction in Chinese, Chan instructions. They have a collection there. Listen to it. Okay, or listen to Master YongHua's explanation of. Let me see, you're the intellectual guy. Listen to his Shrangama Sutra explanation. Drop everything else. Okay, just go through it over and over and over again. I would do that. Okay, it would help you tremendously. Okay, if you do that and you practice for an hour, you're still not enlightened, then you need help. Okay, because everything should be there. The way Master Shua explained the Shrangama Sutra, it's beautiful. It's one of the best I've heard. And it has so many details. It has the kind of insights you have in the explanation, especially the 50 skandha demons, especially Shranga mantra and so forth. It's just fantastic. It's a masterpiece. Okay, to me, it's a marvel. It should be. If his disciples fail to do that in the future, after I retire, I would enshrine it or transcribe it in Chinese and English and whatever, and then make it available for free. That way, a lot of people can become enlightened, and then that way, I become enlightened too. Enlightenment is you want to become enlightened is that you want to help others become enlightened first. Don't worry about yourself. That's my attitude. Okay? Hinayana people, they say, I want to become enlightened. I'm of the opposite persuasion. I would like to help people become enlightened first. Okay? That's the Chinese wisdom, Chinese Mahayana wisdom. That is, you create blessings for yourself. And the best blessings are to help others become enlightened. If you seek for enlightenment. If you want to go to the Pure Land, then you help others get to the Pure Land. Don't worry about yourself, okay? And help others get to the Pure Land. And so that's what I would do if I were you. I would meditate, I would go listen to his sutras, explanation, and then meditate and keep on doing that, and then come to our cultivation events like this, Fuji, Chanqi, and so forth. Come for a week or so, okay? And you get a lot. Don't be fooled by the fact you're goofing off today. It's part of the training, believe it or not. Okay? I train differently. I don't believe in grinding out like the Chinese. Too slow for me. Way too slow. I've done it for 4 years with them. Frankly, I'm not impressed. Looking back, I was very frustrated, very unimpressed by the cranking. I went to Korea, for example. I met with a lot of Sonbang, the Chan area of the Korean temple. The Korean monks and nuns are spoiled. They have everything. They even have a Chan area in most temples where you can go there and do meditation retreat for 3 months. And then after that, you have a break for 3 months and another 3 months and so forth. So all year round, you can do Chan meditation, Chan training. But few of them become enlightened. Because it's what it lacks, what they lack is guidance. Just like I lacked guidance when I was at Master YongHua disciples' temples. So you can grind it out like people typically do for 4 weeks and 5 weeks and or 3 months and so forth. And if you have the guidance, you make it. You don't have the guidance, you can grind it out all you want, forever. Okay? Yeah. All right. So guidance meaning you have protection, you have assistance, you have instruction, you have problem resolution, all those things. And so that's why it's a lot more involved behind the process of enlightenment than you think. The Hinayana, they don't know. The only thing they know, their Dharma is geared towards having no guidance at all, so they have to grind it out. Okay, so that's what Master YongHua did at his temples. Okay, he has a foresight to see that there's no guidance, therefore we're taught to grind it out. But I don't believe in that. I feel that it's Hinayana, Mahayana. I don't like it. Okay, go ahead, you too. Does it help? Start with that. And you still need to, the point here, you do that every day, but you make sure that you join the Zoom class we have to offer, and you come periodically to double check to make sure you're on the right tracks. Because when you're by yourself, like the Hinayana people, the reason Hinayana people take so long and so slow is because they get sidetracked. They think they're grinding it out, but they don't realize they're going off into a tangent. And they get in trouble. They don't realize it. And then you meet with them and they say, I cultivate for 100 days. I sit 10 hours a day. I do Huatou. I met with this Korean guy, monk, who says, I do Huatou for 10 hours a day. I said, have you got it? He said, got what? I walked away. Okay, so if you do 10 hours a day of Huatou for 10 years, you still, too slow. Anyway, go ahead, you two.
This is a question from Snow Wu. Master, how do you keep up with the world outside of the temple? Do you watch TV or read online news or follow Twitter? I'm very surprised you know Nordic bike from yesterday's teaching.
I what from yesterday's teaching?
Nordic.
A what?
The Nordic bike.
What?
The bike. The exercise bike.
It's supposed to be an embarrassment, admitting I'm an idiot. You're not supposed to be impressed. And so this person is so confused, clearly. What's to be impressed by an idiot monk who wrecked his back before he does the samachi? So how stupid can you be? Anyway, how do I keep up with the world? I don't keep up with the world. I let the world come to me. I let people like you come to my temples, join our internet sessions, and that's how I keep. That's how I get updated on the latest news. Okay, but in general, it's I'm of the belief that the Dharma has to be cultural. Okay? I feel that in order to save living beings, you need to be able to connect with living beings. You're not supposed just to have samadhi power and that's it. Okay, and that's what Chan does. Chan helps you build samadhi power, but it's not enough in my opinion. You need to have the wisdom to learn about others and learn about the world. So you come to the temple, hopefully you learn about the techniques. I want you to learn about kindness and compassion, and that's from interacting with others. Okay, it's not something you learn by yourself. Kindness and compassion you learn from being with others. And hopefully at our temples, when you're connecting with others, you find out really how low you really are. Okay, that's how stupid you really are. You don't even know how low you are, and that's how stupid you really are. Okay, so to me, part of the training is I try to give you is technique, environment, and all the things, and also preparing you for planting the seeds in you to accomplish the big picture, not just grinding it out like a Hinayana style. All right? Grinding it out, again, is appropriate when you have no advisors, when no one is there to guide you, like the Korean Sunims and the Sonbang. They really have no advisors. So they have a problem, they talk to each other, and no one knows what to do. That's why they stuck. First stage rahat, second stage rahat, at best third stage rahat. That's it. In general, most Sonbang are like that, except for 1 or 2 temples. Okay, it's very rare to be able to get some insights, some tips on what you're doing wrong, why you're not making progress. Yeah. So that's why you keep on grinding it out. It takes too long. Okay, you die before anything significant happens. So you heard of the Chinese Chan masters who did like the Hua To. He practiced Chan for a long, long time, 30, 40, 50 years, until he got to the age of 80. And he wore 3 sitting cushions. He meditated every day, practiced very hard. He wore 3 sitting cushions. He wore 3 of those things you're sitting on right now. 3 of those things. I'm flabbergasted. I would have quit. Life's too short. I mean, what is the matter with you? And finally, at the age of 80, he became enlightened. And the Chinese are so impressed by that. I said, really? You work so hard at the age of 80 and you become enlightened, and then what? You die. So what's your purpose in life? What good are you? Seriously. So anyway, I don't keep up. Again, I keep up when you come to me, and I find out learning about being policewoman, being about engineering and so forth. That's how. Then I go back home and say I better read up on all these things. Besides, my main form of education, okay, James Bond movies. Okay, and if I have time, it's kung fu movies, Shaolin thing kind of things. Okay, anyone else? Any other questions? Okay, let's get to the some serious matters. Play the tape, please.
按按你施几多，佢哋嘢就嚟幾多。來了，你施咗啦，唔使話，依家我們呢個世界科學發明了，科學發達，
However much you wish to eat, that's the amount that you will get.
That's Cantonese, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like the way he speaks in Cantonese. Is that how Cantonese people speak in that way? Like kind of like a truck driver. Seriously? I mean, Mandarin is so adorned, especially Beijing accent is so beautiful. And when you hear Master Hsuan speak Cantonese, is that him really? He has so many facades, It's not him, trust me. He talks like that because those people are like that. Continue.
So it passed the slide already, so I'll just read it. Food appears and you eat them all, and it went on to the next slide.
Could you increase the volume a little bit? This woman here is
Move it back.
She slurs a little bit. I know you're emotional with your uncle passing away, but
又有这个电炉头
Our world has advanced science with dishwashers and the electric stoves.
洗的，各地也唔使洗碗，也唔使去煮液天然的东西都有了。那么给
In the land of ultimate bliss, you don't need to cook or run the dishwasher or clean the stove.
Seriously? You go to the Pure Land, you still have to worry about these things? So clearly his disciples are into doing dishwashing.
这个懒的人呢是很好的，懒的人中意做工升到极乐世界真很。
It is good for lazy people. Lazy people don't like working after being reborn to the land of ultimate bliss.
唔使做工嘅，咩工都唔使做，也唔使洗衫，也唔使洗碗你看。
You really don't need to do any work. You don't need to wash clothes or clean dishes.
各种你湿的我就得个了各地。
The food and drink appear naturally. Once you finish eating, you're done.
"天然富的，天然呢，各的饮食啊，你吃掉了啊，各的盘碗呢，自然就切了，才用人工啊来宰啊。"
The dishes vanish by themselves. No need to wash them manually.
你看这极妙啊！那么所以叫极乐世界，极乐世。
You see how wonderful this is. So it is called the land of ultimate bliss.
世界呀，咩也都还微妙不可思议的。
In the land of ultimate bliss, everything is subtly wonderful and inconceivable.
啊，你终于识灭业啊，就有灭业，好像我终于识水稿，这水稿就来了。
Whatever you like to eat, you have it. For instance, if you like dumplings, then dumplings will show up.
唔使人请啊，也唔使人造啊，唔使被果阳累得那么辛苦。
There's no need to buy them or make them like Guo Yang, who had to work so hard to make those dumplings here.
包水稿，所以啊，各的这个世界呀，太好了，因为太好了，点解会这么好呢？就因为阿弥陀佛呀，他在因地发的愿，说。
The land of ultimate bliss is a great place. How can it be so fantastic? It's because in the past, Amitabha Buddha made vows in the causal grounds.
Causal, not casual.
Causal grounds, sorry.
我这个世界呀，一定要超过其他个世界啊，天上也没这么好。
In the future, my world must surpass any other world. Even the heavens are not as wonderful as his world.
所以我们人念佛呀，就要升到极乐世界去。
Thus, when we recite the Buddha's name, we must definitely resolve to be born in the land of ultimate bliss.
升到极乐世界，那么花开见佛，无生法忍了。
Once we are born there, the lotus flower will bloom. We will see the Buddha and awaken to patience with the non-arising of Dharma.
然后你所有的朋友，所有的这个眷属就你个亲戚，都还不退菩萨。
All of your friends and relatives will also be non-retreating bodhisattvas.
We see the Buddha and awaken to the patience of the non-production of dharmas. Use the same terminology to help avoid confusion. To the patience and non-production of dharmas. Okay, 无生法忍. That's how it should be translated. And the Pure Land teachings have all sorts of clues on what's going on. Excuse me. And that's why they're all very consistent. It paints a whole picture of what's going to happen as you go to the Pure Land, what's happening in the Pure Land. And so we should try to, because this is new Dharma in English, and therefore we should try to use the same terminology so that people don't get confused, to minimize people's confusion. Okay. To the patience of non-production, the patience. It's only one patience, that patience, non-production of dharmas. Okay, very good. And our friends and relatives and retinues also be non-retreating bodhisattvas. Okay, meaning these bodhisattvas will never lose the resolve to become enlightened, to become Buddhas. Right? All right, continue.
What are non-retreating bodhisattvas? There are three kinds of non-retreat. Non-retreat in position, non-retreat in practice, and non-retreat in thought. Non-retreat in position means one does not retreat to the two vehicles. He follows the great vehicle. Non-retreat in practice means one always practices the bodhisattva path. He will never say, I will not practice the bodhisattva path. The bodhisattva path is not easy to practice. Non-retreat in thought means one never entertains any false thoughts. Such as, when I recite the Buddha's name, there's no effect. I've been practicing for so many years, and I still haven't attained any results from reciting the Buddha's name. When we don't get any immediate results from reciting the Buddha's name, we give up. The people in the land of ultimate bliss don't give up. Their resolve for Bodhi is forever. and it grows bigger day by day, taller day by day. So they will become Buddhas there.
再个
Okay, stop.
方才讲
Okay, let me explain to you the three non-retreating. Okay? In the Western Bliss Pure Land, this is very important for you to understand. It also shows how much the people who've been teaching Pure Land Buddhism really understands. There are three non-retreating characteristics in the Western Bliss Pure Land. When you're all residents there, when you go and you make it there, you have a non-retreating as part of your makeup. You're non-retreating in position, in practice, and in thought. Okay? Why? This is important. Non-retreating in position, meaning that you don't wish to be satisfied with the small vehicle results. Small vehicles, they shoot for arhatship and pratika Buddhahood. And for them, it is rewarding to be able to attain those two positions. In the Pure Land, we're not happy with those. They're considered undesirable, if you will. Okay? It's too low for the Pure Land residents. And therefore, this also tells you that in the Pure Land, okay, the residents, the disciples, Amitabha Buddha, are all practicing Mahayana. Okay? They will not settle for the small vehicle fruitions at all. And that's very important. And so that's why the people here who in the Saha world who don't know as well, so don't know that fact, and that's why we need to tell you about the non-retreating, because it's to remind you that whatever you practice right now, okay, should also be Mahayana, should not be Hinayana at all, because you practice Hinayana, Pure Land, you have a hard time going there. It's much harder for you to go there, if you will, because you go there, you need to be reprogrammed, if you will. You lacked the blessings to be able to practice Mahayana in the Western Bliss Pure Land. All right? So that's why I pay attention to what the other teachers are teaching you, and it shows in you what you want, your aspirations is clear. Okay? So in Mahayana, we simply will never settle for those fruitions, okay, of arhatship and pratika Buddha. It's never a big deal for us. Way Mountain.
Hello, Emitofuo Master. What does Cheng refer to?
It's two vehicles. The vehicles of the arhats and vehicles of pratika Buddhas. That's called Sheng. Cheng is Chinese, mainland China. Sheng is Taiwanese. Says a mainland China person. Okay. So those are the two vehicles, meaning the arhatship vehicles and pratika vehicles. They practice, in order to try to reach those fruitions, realize those fruitions. For us, it's not significant enough to devote our lives and our time into such practices. Be very careful what you wish for. The goal is that you set really, really matters. If you think too small, that's what you're going to get. It makes a huge difference in what your teacher tells you. Okay? It sets a limit. Your teachers will limit your own fruition, your own attainment. And that's why those who subscribe to the two vehicles, they basically are eventually binding themselves, putting themselves in shackles. Okay? To me, it's not worth it. All right? That's it. That's in position. Position meaning the position of the sound hearers on the two vehicles. So far, so good. We practice Mahayana. Okay, and it shows because the Hinayana is grinding. Okay, that's all they do. Beginning to end, they grind and grind and grind and grind. Okay, they grind it out because that's all they know. Okay, designed for you to break through with no help from your teachers, with time. Okay, for us, Mahayana is too slow, simply too small, too slow. Way Mountain.
Master, the Thai tradition, they call Buddha an Arhat. Is there special meaning to that?
Is it my hearing? I really have a hard time hearing the English. It's lack of enunciation. Are you doing this on purpose to make me doubt my own hearing? Is that what spies do to people?
Master, there's a very bad echo here at YongHua Temple.
Okay. You want a Thai tradition, go talk to the Thai people. I'm not interested. I love Thai food and everything, but I'm not going to comment on the Thai Buddhist tradition except that I have tremendous respect for them. You want to learn Hinayana, they are the standard for Hinayana practices. And they have very good Hinayana practices to help you get to fourth stage Arhat. And so those of you who wish to study the Hinayana vehicle, Tarana vehicles, whatever they want to call it, I highly recommend you go to Thailand. It's excellent. Okay? But it's not good enough for me. Okay, next, non-retreating is non-retreating in practice, meaning that once you go to the Pure Land, okay, and you stay in the Pure Land, and Amitabha Buddha teaches you the Mahayana practices, primarily the 6 paramitas, the 10 paramitas. Okay, you'll be taught the 6 paramitas. You'll be taught to practice giving. You'll be taught to accrue your blessings in the Pure Land. And so you'll be taught, you'll be put on these Mahayana practices, on this Mahayana diet. Okay? Even the food you eat is also Mahayana, will help you grow your Mahayana heart. The food you eat, okay? The people you socialize with will help make your heart bigger, okay? And so because of that environment, okay, there is no such bad influence for you to even think of settling for something less called the sound hearer fruitions, the Hinayana positions, if you will. Okay, so it's a really great advantage is that you will not be under bad influences. Okay, It's very important because as you pick up information in your Buddhist practices, you're bound to be exposed to here in our world lots of Hinayana influences, lots of Hinayana, glorified Hinayana practices. So that's why our brand of Mahayana, Master brand of Mahayana, okay, they're very rare. It's very difficult to encounter them. Compared to, you look up the information on the internet, on the scholarly sources, universities programs, PhD training programs, the teachers, lectures, and so forth, is predominantly Hinayana. Whereas Mahayana is so little. Okay? Like ours. And like Master YongHua's. Ours is a little bit more advanced. Okay? Designed for a broader spectrum and including the more advanced levels than the Chinese that was made available here in the US. Okay? And so you see, in the Pure Land, there's no such a problem for you. So that's why you won't even have the temptation to do anything Hinayana-wise. Okay? So you'll be practicing the Pure Land only the paramitas. All the practices are Mahayana. Okay? Because there's no Hinayana information available for you. As in contrast to here in our world. You know, someone just asked about the Thai. Thai is such a strong influence in Asia. Okay? If you are into Pali, Buddhist texts, okay, Thai should be foremost in results, in track record, in support. You know, it's a powerful tradition, okay, which I really, really like. Okay, but it's still Hinayana, so it's very limited in terms of how far you can go, how far you can accomplish. Okay. Okay, so because in the Pure Land again, you have non-retreating in practice because that's the only practice you do. Everything we do in the Pure Land, you do in the Pure Land is Mahayana practices. Okay, even if you happen to be some quarters that have Hinayana, Mahayana, we tend to send people over to slap them in the face and remind them, you know, hey, you're better than this. Drop these bad habits you picked up. Yeah, not good enough. Go ahead, Jewel Conk.
Master, then in Pure Land, are there precepts like in Sour?
Yes. 43, non-retreating in thought is the next high level of non-retreating in thoughts. Okay? The Master says, never entertains any false thoughts. Yes, you see, it sounds very casual. Actually, it's pretty advanced. Yeah. Okay? Because at the advanced level, you have no thoughts. You see that? It sounds so casual to you, right? I mean, everyone looked at it. I remember reading this at first, 25 years ago. I said, not retreating thought, so no false thought. But actually, it's not for you. Okay? Because the enlightened beings, the bodhisattvas, no thoughts. You understand? You see, it sounds like, so you don't think of quitting. No. Think of quitting is for low level, but this is actually for high level bodhisattvas, mahasattvas who are there. Okay? And they're there in their environment and they have no thoughts whatsoever. Okay? So, see, don't be fooled by the Cantonese accent and the the audience and so forth. Master YongHua's teaching is very deceptive. And so 44, when you recite Buddha's name, there's no effect. I've been so many years, and it's talking about here in Saha people. Over there is no such a thought. Okay? It's natural. It's there, and everything, the environment is encouraging them forward, bit by bit by bit. So the thought retreating here refers to the people here. Okay, in contrast, where here we have so many obstructions that retreating thoughts are commonplace for us. Okay, and I don't know, it's too much. I just go have some burgers or something. Well, you know what I mean? That's a retreating thoughts. Did anyone have any burgers today? I hope you didn't have any such retreating thoughts. You were right. Yeah. It would be such a disappointment. Yeah. Okay? I've been practicing for a few days now. I still haven't attained any results, and so forth. Don't have any more results. I'm going to give up. Okay? People in the Pure Land, they just go for it. And there's no such a type of obstruction. Okay? A resolve for Bodhi is forever. It grows bigger day by day, taller day by day. Okay, so that's what happens in a Pure Land. That's why you're free from obstruction. You're free from temptations. Because what's a big deal with the burgers or fries? Because you can have it at lunch. You don't even need to go out. You got that? You got the point now. Today's lesson is that if you go to the Pure Land, you don't need to, drive 25 minutes. The food comes just like that. Huh? I rest my case. Yeah. Should all be looking sheepish and, oh my God, I've been conned. He caught me again. But you look so proud of yourself. It's so sad. It's called retreating. It's called retreating. Yeah, it's retreating mind, if you will. Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. I know it's so sad. Yeah. It's hurt. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Continue, please.
我是无量寿，又是无量光。
Just now, we explained Amitabha Buddha as meaning limitless life and limitless light.
这无量寿就是他福德无量，所以他寿命也无量。
Limitless life is just limitless blessings and virtue, so his lifespan is also limitless.
Stop. Why do the Chinese use the word 福德? Anyone knows? Sorry. Not Chinese people. Vietnamese people. God. 福德 is blessings and virtue. Why they use blessings and virtues? Chinese people, please tell us. Ray, go ahead. What's 福德? Why do you guys use 福德?
Can he use his mic?
3.
Master, I have no idea. I'm a fake Chinese.
Are you real Chinese or fake Chinese? Okay, lots of those nowadays. Anyone else? Any real Chinese people? How about Taiwanese? Just for the heck of it. Huh? Not leave anyone out. Okay, real Chinese people. Yes, 6.
The question is why the blessings first?
Yeah, why do you Chinese, why do you say limited life is limitless blessings and virtue?
You have blessings, blessed people have virtues.
Blessed people have virtues.
So, yeah, I think they reinforce each other, but maybe the blessing is the foremost, so it's put first.
They're equivalent, if you will. Okay? If you have blessings, then you have virtues naturally. You have limitless blessings, then you will have virtues. Okay? And because you have virtues, you create limitless blessings. So that's why they're one and the same. Okay? They're not separate at all. When you look at, we're talking about the ultimate blessings, ultimate virtues, okay? That's what it's about. When you get to that level, it's the same, one and the same. Blessings, virtues, the same. So that tells you this is meant to be a teaching point for the Chinese. Okay? When you have blessings, meaning you have money, you have whatever, reputation, you have a lot of things going for yourself, then you're supposed to be a virtuous person. Chinese teaching is very profound. We don't have that in Western world. You agree? Mexico, is such a thing as blessing, you're supposed to be a virtuous person? Amigo? Yeah. No such thing. See? A little bit, then it's not the same. Amigo, the other amigo. Okay? You understand? It's such a profound language. The profound culture in Chinese is that if you really have great blessings, then you're a virtuous person. You do virtuous things. That's why you even have more blessings. So the language itself, okay, the culture itself is that way from the great sages. And somehow now it's all about making money and exports and GDP and growth and zero COVID, that kind of thing. And that's what they measure, how they measure their success. Whereas back then, the quintessential Chinese culture is 福德. Yes, 8, 6. Six. Repeat.
Is that just because the blessings ran out for the Chinese people? So they don't know this anymore? They don't...
Does it mean blessings run out? You really think so?
Yeah, so the people don't have virtues anymore.
It doesn't quite work like that. You don't understand. You guys don't understand the process. Anyone else?
Just the current Chinese society's behavior.
In old China, what did the great emperors do?
Yeah, they...
The great emperors, Kangxi, okay, or the Tang Dynasty emperors.
Yeah.
Xuan Zhang, Xuan Zhong, and so forth. Xuan Zhong, Xuan something, okay? Okay? Not Xuan Zhang. Sorry. Xuan Zhang is not an emperor. Could be emperor, but he chose to be a monk.
He was sponsored by the emperor to go to get a sutra.
Right, but he's not emperor. I don't want.
Yeah, he himself is not.
Okay. But the point here is that, what did the great emperors do?
They try to accrue blessings.
They are great teachers. Okay? They arranged for the great teachings, were arranged for wisdom to be taught to the population. They didn't care for one of the major building blocks in their government, okay, is to teach virtue. Is that clear? When you look at the Chinese culture, or you look at the Indian culture, the great kings in India, okay, they emphasized virtue. They emphasize virtuous lives. So that's how Confucius came to eminence, because he emphasized virtue. Yes? That's the quintessential Chinese culture of old. And that's why the Chinese culture really prospered for so long and produced such great talents. Okay, and now in parallel, you have the Western side where they emphasize more materialistic things, okay, and on non-virtuous things, okay, and they are a lot more appealing in that sense, okay. But virtues are not supposed to be seen. So that's why now the Asians are switching to the Western value system. They're abandoning their core of their superiority, why they are superior. As a culture, as a race, yes. If you only adopt Western measures of success, you'll never be able to beat the Westerners. Think about it. They have centuries, they have DNA baked into their beings. Asian will not be able to compete. No matter how long you go to the Western universities or pick their brains and so forth. Yes, sir. 5.
Why are virtues not supposed to be seen? In it, like a lot of traditional cultures, like I'm into like the mafia type stuff. The old mafia people, they were all about virtue. Even in Mexico, a lot of the famous bandits, they were very virtuous. And they made a lot of like songs for them, and it was like revered, and now it's not. But I'm just wondering, like back then it was revered. It was like it was okay for it to be seen, right? It was a good influence on the people, and why not?
I'm struggling with the concept of mafia, Mexican mafia being virtuous. I'm sorry I didn't hear the rest of it. I was I don't know. Okay. You have maybe your definition of virtues in Mexico is different from the Chinese definition of virtue. Okay, virtues is that we don't kill people, you don't sell drugs, and you don't do things to benefit yourself. You harm others, you take advantage of others in order to benefit yourself. There's no virtues there. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree that that's what it's involved to now, but its origins, for example, the Sicilian mafia, it came about because they were oppressed for many centuries. So they created a secret society where they didn't trust the government, and they took care of themselves. So I was just going back to the origin that the leaders were virtuous, and that's why everybody went to them. And then, with power came corruption. And
you weren't there. How do you know they were virtuous? Well, I beg to differ. I look at virtues as something that's long-lasting. It has a track record. You can't go from being beneficial and then to killing and to doing drugs and so forth in the span of 1 century. My friend, the Indian Buddhism, where it all originated from, is about virtues for the last 3,000 years. It doesn't matter. It went through a lot of upheavals, lots of kings and queens, and lots of disasters, lots of heartaches. He cannot shake the virtuous heart in those practitioners, those teachers. Okay? So I disagree with you that those people actually originally virtuous. Is virtuous, they would not go in that direction. Okay? If you look at the lifetime of Confucius, for example, he's very poor, he struggled a lot. And his entire life, he really is so poor. He really struggled. Okay? And he never gave up. He's non-retreating. He's an example of non-retreating in thoughts. He's a bodhisattva. He says, I'm going to do this because it's the right thing for me to do. It's not about recognition, not about money, it's not about profit. Okay? I will teach my disciples and go out and help the world. They come back or not to help me out or show gratitude, it's not important to me. I'm teaching because I'm teaching virtues. Virtuous people are supposed to take losses. That's why. You're not supposed to be seen. You're not supposed to be rewarded. Because if you're rewarded, then virtue has a price. The virtue is priceless. That's why it should not be rewarded. It's tough to be virtuous. That's how, when you're virtuous, you're not rewarded, it encourages you to be more virtuous. If you're virtuous and you're rewarded, then you become less virtuous. Now you have to drive a nice car, live in nice temples. God, that's disgusting. For me personally. Heck! Okay? You know what I mean?
I understood everything except for the last part about nice cars and nice temples.
You didn't get that? It's so obvious.
Well, I get it now.
Okay. All right. So it's not words. It's about actions. It's about when you're virtuous, you take losses. You don't do it because you don't do it for gains. You're not scheming for gains at all. You're supposed to take losses. You look at all the virtuous things, all the virtuous people extol in the various cultures, they all have one common denominator. I take losses. You gain, I will take losses. Please, take my gains. Okay? So, give me your bad stocks that are losing money, I will take them. Never mind. You guys have no fun. You know that stocks are going downhill right now? One of my guys I respect is Mr. Musk, has lost billions of dollars. That's virtues. No? Okay, maybe not. No. Okay, so you see, blessings and virtues are one and the same. Because you have blessings again, you do virtuous things. Because you do virtuous things, you take losses. So the clue here from a Chinese culture is that you accrue blessings by taking losses, not by making gains. I know it's contrary to your Western educated sensibilities. You said, Master is speaking nonsense. I didn't go to business school. I didn't go to engineering schools. I didn't go and work hard in my life in order to take losses. Yes, that's nonsense. How can I teach my children to do that? Think about it. Because you cannot understand it, that's why your children are miserable. They're too greedy for gains. If you're still looking for gains, you will be miserable no matter how many gains you get. And you don't have to believe me. And you keep it that way. When you get older, you watch your own children, your own nephews and nieces and grandchildren. Just like people here in the Western world, now we're influenced by the Western value system. They all are going for gains, and they are becoming very unhappy. They are becoming depressed because they're not getting what they want, ultimately. And that's why that's why the Chinese culture is losing its ground, because the leaders don't understand blessings and virtues anymore. In the old days, the Tang emperors, for example, they taught their own disciples, their own children, follow me, do what I do. In contrast, look at the royalty we have nowadays. What do they teach their children? Get more while you still can. It's sad to me. They have no concepts of blessings and virtue at all. Yes, sir. Cinco.
Do like royalty monarchs who want to practice virtue, do they need like spiritual protection, or they just have to tough it out?
Why would you need protection if you're virtuous?
Because it's hard, they're going to stop you?
When it gets harder, why do you need protection? There's no virtue in asking for protection. You thought of that? You say, I'm doing a virtuous person, aren't you supposed to protect me?
I was just wondering if it just makes, not that they're asking for it, but maybe it makes it harder for them to do their work if they...
But then, the harder, the better. The harder, the more virtuous. You want big virtues, you want small virtues.
Big virtue.
Big virtues, then don't ask for protection. Don't expect protection. Okay? They get the day off too. Weekends, here and weekends, we have no protection. All right. So because they have limitless blessings, that's why the lifespan is so limitless. So long life is equated to lots of blessings. Is it clear? Okay, next.
无量光就是它是智慧无量，所以它光明也无量。
Limitless light is limitless wisdom, so his radiance is also limitless.
那么，阿弥陀佛是在十方佛里边的是最第一的。
Amitabha Buddha is number one among all the Buddhas of the 10 directions.
Okay, and this is why I disagree with the Chinese characterization of Amitabha Buddha. Let me check first. Okay, sometimes you go out on a limb and, because it's a virtuous thing to do. Okay, where are you? I cannot find my cursor. And there you go. Limitless light, limitless wisdom. Wisdom is about being able to help and anywhere, anyone throughout the universe. That's kind of wisdom we're shooting for. Don't just say, I have wisdom, I want to acquire wisdom so that I can help the Vietnamese or my amigos or my beloved Korean people. Okay? That's no wisdom. Am I offending anyone? You cannot be provincial. You cannot be racially motivated. You cannot be so small-minded, like, Vietnam #1. Okay? It's true, but but you find out yourself. I let you find out yourself, in time. Okay. I don't know why the Vietnamese don't like me at all. I don't get it. I've been promoting them, but they still think I'm not Vietnamese. I'm a fake Vietnamese, if you will. It's true. Anyway, the point here is the wisdom here is measured by light. Light here, he says limitless wisdom because the radiance limitless, meaning it shines until the corner, to the edge of the universe. Okay? It can reach that far, meaning that it's nothing that it cannot help. You see that? Because his vow of this Buddha is, I vow to help every single living being anywhere in the universe. So because of that vow, he has wisdom that manifests itself as a light that will reach in every single nook and cranny in the entire universe. So far, so good. So you help everyone. You cannot be discriminatory. Is that clear? So stop it. Don't say, I only speak Chinese. I don't eat Korean food. So Vietnamese. Yeah. Nonsense. Okay? Yeah. Open your heart. That's Pure Land people mindset, if you will. Okay? You have to help everyone, not just the people you like. And the people you don't like. Okay? So in order to have wisdom, you have to like people you don't like. At least try. Okay? And then the Master says, Amitabha Buddha is #1 among all Buddhas of 10 directions. That's wrong. It's just false advertising. Okay? Amitabha Buddha never wanted to be #1 among all Buddhas. Never. We should not speak like this. Okay? It's for Cantonese people. Oh, I'm no Buddha. I don't need to help Cantonese people. So demanding. You're not even Buddha. You dare judge me. I'm lecturing. Anyway, Amitabha Buddha never ever wanted to be #1 among Buddhas. It's not true. You see, that's my objection to this. Buddhas don't think I want to be #1 Buddha. Buddha says, if you want my opinion, Buddha says, if I become a Buddha, I'd be so happy. Any Buddha would be fine. You believe me or not? So this is why I differ with my teacher. He says, Amitabha #1, because he says, I want you to go to Amitabha Buddha. I say, no, it's not true. Don't mislead people. Okay? There's no need to talk like that. The truth of the matter is, I just want to become a Buddha. Seriously. When you become a Buddha, you know what I'm talking about. When you cultivate to become a Buddha, you just say, I just want to be a Buddha. I don't care if, I'm number 1, number 2, number 3, number 20, number 3,000. It doesn't matter. Just become a Buddha. That's all that matters. Of course, in your heart, I be number 1. Yes? Yes? Or you, Korea? Yeah, that's Korea. Got that? There's no need to, what do you call that? To talk down to people this way, okay? Let them, tell them the truth. There's no need to add things that are not necessary. Okay? Yeah. I mean, when you become a Buddha, you find out you know better than anyone else. I assure you. Okay? So it's no need to say, I'm going to be number 1 Buddha. Okay? I'd be happy number 3,947. Okay? Because I know it's the same as number 1. Okay? Any questions, comments? Okay, I have 4 more minutes. Yes.
Master, this is a question for my personal situation. So I feel at work, I'm having a more difficult time connecting with people as I cultivate more, or compare with a few years ago. I don't know. Maybe it's also my position changed, but I feel somehow my relationship with others, especially people report to me, become more transactional. Like I don't feel I care about them, honestly.
You don't care for them?
Not really. I mean, not just my reports, but also my peers.
If I remember vaguely, I think you work for Facebook?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Facebook manager.
I think it's not personal to anyone. It's just like, I just feel that...
You're so judgmental. Every time I talk to you, you Facebook people are so judgmental. It's just like you have to characterize everything. Transactional? Life is transactional. What are you talking about?
No, it's just like I
mean, you're relating with people who are transactional. One hand washes the other. Yes? How else are you going to connect with them? And yet you say, it's transactional, I don't like this. You have a hard time embracing people of who they are. Instead you judge them. You say, you're too transactional for me. You're too phony for me. Okay? You are, whatever you want to characterize them as in a negative way. Instead, look at what's they're interesting. Look at their strength. I look at their strength first. It helps me overcome and help me overlook their negative attributes. And then I look at their strengths and I build upon that and then help them resolve their negativity, the things that are undesirable. Okay? When you look closely, and let me tell you a secret about life. Even the most evil person is capable of the greatest good. Because that's the nature of our existence, duality. The greatest evil cannot exist unless they also have the greatest good in them already.
Sorry, Master. I think in this case, what I'm talking about, it's not like I really think they're good or bad or characterize them. I don't even know them. It's like I don't really feel like.
You get to know them.
It's like I'm not.
What's the problem?
I'm not that interested in knowing them. It's like, yeah, I think.
You're getting paid to get to know them. What are you talking about? You chose to do what you do in order to get to know the people and work with them. Squeeze the most out of them in a good way, in a humane and virtuous way. That's not easy to do. There's no such manual written for that. These schools, they don't do that. They don't train you to do that. Recently, I heard that some universities in Turin or somewhere in Italy, where they're teaching about virtuous business practices, and they seem to strike a chord with a lot of people. So they're gaining a lot of students. Their students are interested in that. Because it's a new form of thinking, you will, has been going around for several years. But now, it's catching steam. So people are saying, it's more to this business practices, to leadership than just maximizing profits. Okay, something more that along the line of feeling good about yourself every day, about what you do. Okay, profits is not enough. Profits will let the mainland Chinese have it. Okay. We go for virtues because that's where it's at.
I think I know how to do that, and I can do that to people sometimes. But I feel like I'm just. I used to do that better, I feel. Now I just don't has as much. Sorry, I don't use the word
Also,
again.
something
Interest.
called decency. I get paid to do my job. So I go all out to do my job, more than what is expected of me. Okay? And that's called virtue. I don't need to be rewarded because I promised my boss I would do this. I'll give it all out. Whether I'm rewarded or not doesn't matter. That's how I live my life. You always transactional is not them, it's you. You are transactional. When you do something, it's what's in it for me. That's you, not them. Because you're transactional, you fail to recognize some people who are not transactional, or the transactional people who are capable of being non-transactional towards you, or towards, in some cases. That's what you need to build on. I know you're all transactional, aren't you? All my hope I have hope for is that someday I catch you when you don't pay attention. I catch you on your non-transactional mind. That's when you can open your wisdom. You understand now why I'm against grinding? You grind and you keep on. You grind on transactional mind. It will not change you. Certain teaching is at that moment right there where I catch you. And you're not careful and you don't pay attention, so I catch you in your non-transactional, your virtuous state of mind. That's all that matters. Stop it. Stop being so transactional yourself. Because that's what, because your mind is transactional, that's why you see only transactional. Can you see that problem? Are you crying, Xiao Liam? Little Liam? Are you transactional too? Did you run away from your husband? Yeah, you. She just got in here and said, I'm glad I'm here. And Master asked me a question immediately. Did you run away from him? He said, I have enough of this guy. All I know is I have to go to work, and go and stay home and fix the house and then take care of him. When do I have time for myself? That's called virtuous behavior. Okay? When you start being transactional, that's when you see how people are really non-transactional, because you inspire them to be non-transactional. Okay, everyone, thank you. We stop here tonight. Let's do the great transference.